Next example, x divided by 2 plus 4 equals negative 6. This is again my typical example where I add or subtract first and then I multiply or divide. First, I'm going to undo that plus 4 by subtracting 4 from both sides of my equation. X divided by 2 plus 4 minus 4 leaves me with x divided by 2. X divided by 2 equals negative 6 minus 4, which is negative 10. Second inverse operation is to undo divided by 2 by multiplying both sides of my equation by 2. X divided by 2 times 2 is just x, and then negative 10 times 2 is negative 20. Negative 20 is my solution to this equation. Here is a really similar equation, x plus 4 divided by 2 equals negative 6. But again, we are performing our operations in a different order, and therefore we are solving using inverse operations in a different order. Using my flowchart in this first example, what's happening to x? Well, according to PEMDAS, first I'm dividing by 2, and then I'm adding 4. So when I solve, I do that in reverse order of operations. First I subtract 4, and then I multiply by 2. I'm not going to perform inverse operations in that order for the second equation. If I trace through what's happening to x here, a fraction bar is a form of parentheses. That means the first thing that I'm doing to x is I'm adding 4. Next, I'm dividing x plus 4 by 2. Again, same operations, but in a different order. That means when I work backwards to solve, first I'm going to multiply by 2, and then I'm going to subtract 4. Using our understanding of PEMDAS, when we're thinking through what's happening to x, we have a parentheses and then a division. So when we work backwards, we multiply, and then we undo what's happening inside the parentheses. Let's go ahead and solve that algebraically. So working backwards, first I multiply by 2, x plus 4 divided by 2 times 2, and then times 2 to the right-hand side as well. X plus 4 divided by 2 times 2 is just x plus 4. And then negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. Second inverse operation is to subtract 4. X plus 4 minus 4 is x, and then negative 12 minus 4 is negative 16. I now have my solution to this second example. Negative 16 plus 4 is negative 12. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Again, to recap, I have the same operations happening to x, dividing by 2 and adding 4, dividing by 2 and adding 4. But those happen in a different order, and therefore I'm solving using inverse operations in a different order for these two different examples. When you're solving an equation, it can be really helpful to trace through, maybe using a flowchart, maybe in your head, what's happening to x, and that will allow you to solve in the reverse order of operations.